Do you guys honestly believe that the Francisco Lindor trade really affected me? Of course it did. But that's how baseball works. Unfortunately, we have seen some of the biggest names in baseball history get traded. So in today's video, we're going to talk about 10 players that could get moved in 2023. Now, I do want to mention in the first script that I made, I did have Sean Murphy and Dalton Varsho in that script. So technically, I'm 2 for 2, but these were gimmies. These were easy trades to predict. And also, yes, we are going to talk about Shohei Ohtani later on in the video, but if you're an Angels fan, please watch until that point because there could be a silver lining to that trade. All right, let's go ahead and start off with 2 shortstops in the National League. I have Willy Adames and Fernando Tatis Jr., the former Padres shortstop, starting off today's video. I'll talk about Nando in a second, but Willy Adames just turned 27 years old, and he's not going to be a free agent until after the 2024 season. So whoever trades for Willy Adames is going to get a young, budding superstar. He had 31 home runs and a 112 OPS plus in 2022 with a 4.5 WAR season, according to Baseball Reference. Of course, with Willy Adames, he is going to struggle with getting on base on a consistent basis. He had a 298 on base percentage, but he's really good defensively. He's got the pop. Willy Adames, he could really change a franchise. The reason why he's on today's list is because the Brewers don't really give out a ton of money in free agency. They don't really give out extensions unless we're talking about Christian Yelich. They develop pitchers really well. They call up their young guys. They make decent trades throughout the season. And Willy Adames, in my opinion, is a prime candidate to get shipped. I'm just going to say this right now. If Willy Adames gets traded, it's probably going to be with Corbin Burns in a fat package to the Yankees. Fernando Tatis Jr., one of the most electrifying players of my lifetime. He's not even 24 years old at the time of this recording, but he turns 24 on January 2nd. So I guess my man's getting old. Obviously, Fernando Tatis Jr. is signed through 2034, 14 years, $340 million. But when you compare that to contracts like Xander Bogaerts and Trey Turner, Tatis, in my opinion, is better than all of those guys, and he's getting paid less than all of them. Fernando Tatis, for his career, has a 160 OPS plus and a near 370 on base percentage. Obviously, we know that his defense can be a little bit suspect, especially with the throwing accuracy, but with the glove and the range, Fernando can really play any position on the baseball diamond. So for me, a lot of teams would want the services of Tatis, even though he did get suspended for PEDs. That happened. It really pains me to say, but Shane Bieber, there's no way that he is on the Guardians past 2024. So after that season, he becomes a free agent. He's arbitration eligible right now, so he's pretty cheap for a guy that could be a top 5 Cy Young player. He's already won a Cy Young. He had a triple crown as well. Of course, it was in the shortened season, but he's a 2-time All-Star. He's not even 28 years old yet. Shane Bieber, in my opinion, he's probably going to get moved. And honestly, I wouldn't really mind it considering the Guardians are so good at developing pitchers. We have Daniel Espino. We have Gavin Williams. There are a lot of pitchers that could potentially be Shane Bieber 2.0 and better. If I had to guess where Shane Bieber was going to end up, I have a feeling that the Boston Red Sox could really use him. So for me, if I was the Boston Red Sox GM Chaim Bloom, I would extend Rafael Devers and I would trade for Shane Bieber. They need some good news in Boston. Now, technically, Gregory Soto is not a star or a superstar considering he had a negative WAR in 2022, but over the last few seasons, he has been a strikeout machine. He is a 2-time All-Star. I mean, over his last 100 and let's say 25 innings, he has basically put up a 3.3 ERA, a 3.88 FIP. So now that I'm saying those out loud, those are not the best numbers, but still, Gregory Soto as a setup man or a new closer for a team like the Orioles, not the Orioles because they have Felix Bautista, but if a team is in need of a setup guy, Gregory Soto is perfect. Yeah, I kind of sped through Gregory Soto because he kind of feels like this meme right here. We have all of these superstar or star players, and here's Gregory Soto. Like, he's not bad, but also he's not one of the 5 best relievers in baseball, although if he did get traded as a setup guy, he could be ultra valuable, especially for a playoff team. I promise you guys, Shohei Ohtani is coming up very shortly, but we do have to talk about 2 separate players that have been in trade rumors all season long, Gleyber Torres and Bryan Reynolds. Obviously, the Yankees and the Pirates have kind of been talking behind the scenes trying to make out a trade for Bryan Reynolds, but we don't know if that means Oswald Peraza. We don't know if that means Gleyber Torres. If I'm the Yankees, considering Gleyber Torres just turned 26 years old, he's coming off a season in which he had 24 home runs, 10 stolen bases, a 114 OPS plus, and improved defense. I would even say borderline very good defense at second base in 2022. Gleyber Torres, in my opinion, I think that you should trade him when his value is high, but if you're a Yankees fan and you make the argument that Gleyber Torres is a 26-year-old 26-year-old second baseman who plays really good defense. And even if you get Bryan Reynolds, it's not going to make the team better. You could maybe make that argument. But for me, I'm going to say that the Yankees are a better team if they have Bryan Reynolds in left field. They have Anthony Volpe at third base, Oswald Peraza at shortstop, and then you can put DJ LeMahieu at second base, or you could have another guy fill in at second base. There are so many options that the Yankees could have if they move off from Gleyber, but then again, he's a 26-year-old power threat. You don't find those very often at second base. Now, if the Pirates do end up trading this guy right here, Bryan Reynolds, I feel like Gleyber Torres would be a pretty good option for the Pirates because, again, he's young, he's affordable. When does Gleyber Torres become a free agent? Oh, after the 2024 season. So Bryan Reynolds, he's not a free agent until after the 2025 season. So he is ultra affordable. You are going to have to move heaven and earth to acquire the services of Bryan Reynolds. And that's why I bring up the Yankees. Or you could talk about other teams like the Giants or the Dodgers, or even the Padres. They have so much money at their disposal and so much capital if we're talking about prospects and other major league ready players. Bryan Reynolds, a lot of teams could use him. He's so good. 27 home runs, a 345 on base percentage, a near 130 OPS plus, and in my opinion, I don't think that he played the best defense last year because he was most likely auditioning for other teams, so he was probably preserving his health. That is just my assumption. Bryce Harper did that, Aaron Judge did that. You give up on a few plays just to preserve your health. I get it. But at his peak, Bryan Reynolds is a star defender, a superstar offensive player, and yeah, you're going to have to trade a lot to get him. Speaking of you're going to have to trade a lot to get him, Shohei Ohtani, in my opinion, the most coveted player in the history of baseball. Yes, even more so than Aaron Judge. He will be a free agent after this 2023 season, but the Angels, I will give them credit. They have had an A-plus offseason of Tyler Anderson, Brandon Drury, trading for Hunter Renfroe, Gio Urshela. They've made so many good moves, and the Angels could be a second-place team. They have the Mariners, of course. The Rangers are a whole lot better. The AL West is going to be a bloodbath. I mean, you still have to factor in the Astros. Obviously, they're still my favorite, but Ohtani, he could completely change the future of your franchise. You're getting two superstar players in one: 34 home runs, 95 RBIs, a 360 on base percentage, a 145 OPS plus. So of all of the players that we've talked about, aside from Fernando Tatis Jr., Shohei has the highest OPS plus of anyone that we've talked about, and he's a Cy Young caliber pitcher. He finished fourth, right behind Alek Manoah and a couple other guys in 2022. Ohtani, if the Angels underperform, the only way that Shohei Ohtani is moved is if the Angels are not very good, and sometimes they're prone to just cave in on themselves and not perform at their best. But here's the silver lining I was talking about at the beginning of today's video. Shohei Ohtani could end up being Aroldis Chapman 2.0. Not saying character or performance or anything like that. Aroldis Chapman was traded to the Cubs in exchange for Gleyber Torres, so the Cubs gave away Gleyber. He's still with the Yankees. Chapman immediately went back to the Yankees after winning a World Series, so that's what could happen with the Angels. They go out and they trade Shohei Ohtani, they build for the future with that trade, and then they just bring him back. Rafael Devers, it kind of pains me to say that because when I look at his face, he's a perfect fit for the Boston Red Sox. He is an offensive juggernaut, a 141 OPS plus in 2022 with 27 home runs. He basically hit 300. I don't want Rafael Devers to get traded, but the Boston Red Sox, the track record of Chaim Bloom, their general manager, it's not good. JD Martinez, Xander Bogaerts, Mookie Betts, Rafael Devers, he's up in that upper echelon of best third basemen in baseball. He is going to need a lot of dollar bills and goober dollars to stay with the Red Sox, and maybe Boston is just thinking, hey, we can move on and get better if we trade him right now when he's at his peak value. I don't think that's the case. I would rather have Rafael Devers on my squad, but if the Red Sox are a sub 500 team, which I don't think is going to happen, or if they're a fourth place team, yeah, Devers could get moved. Now, the last two players we're going to talk about pretty quick because these are fairly obvious in my opinion. Tyler Glasnow, this guy has been so good when he's been healthy. I used to be a Tyler Glasnow non-believer, but he slapped me in my face with his talent. He is very good. Tyler Glasnow, since the beginning of 2019, now yes, it's only 212 innings because whether it was the shortened season or he's been injured, he has a combined 2.75 ERA, a 2.87 FIP, a near 13 strikeouts per 9. Tyler Glasnow is absolutely dominant at the game of baseball, and a lot of GMs across the game of baseball are going to try and get this guy. He is a free agent after the 2024 season, so it's not a rental. You get him for 2023 and 2024, then you're going to have to pay him a bunch of money money, although he did sign an extension. He's getting about $15 million until he's a free agent. And last but not least, Pablo Lopez. Some people might be thinking, Fuzzy, what are Gregory Soto and Pablo Lopez doing in today's video? Pablo Lopez, he's pretty good. A 3.75 ERA, 174 strikeouts a season ago in 32 starts, hit a 3.71 FIP, and over the last 3 seasons combined since 2020, that's a lot of innings, 340 innings. He has a 3.48 FIP and a 3.52 ERA with a 9.2 strikeouts per 9. I mean, considering how much depth the Marlins have, if we're talking about their young starting pitchers, we forget about Sixto Sanchez. Max Meyer is going to come back. They already have Sandy. They have Jesus Luzardo, who broke out towards the end of 2022. Pablo Lopez is almost 27 years old. He's a free agent after 2024. I would move him. That makes sense to me. Guys, that does it. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know if you agree or disagree with any of my picks. Try to be nice about it. If not, I get it. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Peace out.